And of course, you can pick up the phone and dial them direct. Why not? Best way to reach out and get a friend and get some help. 505-448-8888. That's 505-448-8888. Or welcomehomeabq.com, the number one website for real estate in the state of New Mexico. That's welcomehomeabq.com. Tego, Tracy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Eddie. Here we are, another show.
March.
Lot going on. We're in March all of a sudden in 2022, and a lot going on in the real estate world in Albuquerque for sure. It's been, I don't know. We've ran out of superlatives to try to explain the real estate market. So, but we will do that anyway.
Right? Yeah, anything at this point. Albuquerque area home sales for February, a wild ride. Tego and Tracy will go with that. Homes of the week, of course, what's included, not included in a home sale. And then, will the war affect the housing market? So the three ugly letters right there. We'll let you.
I know.
Take it away. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie.
Always happy to be here. Obviously, you know how to reach us, but if you want to talk real estate, 448-8888 is the team's number. We're usually standing by to take that call, and we look forward to working with you.
Yep.
For homes and land and other real estate needs. So, Tego, where should we start?
Let's just. I really dug into some of the data on the housing market in the Albuquerque area because there's. I think most everybody knows the housing market's pretty wild right now in the sense that very few homes on the market. Homes that are coming on the market are selling very fast. And I dug some of that data up to get a better idea. And even the rental market, anything related to housing is in high demand, low supply right now. And, we're hearing lots of stories about rents going up quite a bit. A lot of people are getting their rents bumped up, which is really tough. That's tough. Definitely rents have gone up faster than wages.
Affordability is an issue.
It is. And, the good news is homeowners are in a very good position right now. And if you're a homeowner, if you're not a homeowner, it's challenging, but homeowners in a great position. They can stay in their home. It looks like equity is going to continue to grow. It looks like home prices are going to continue to grow. There's no signs that home prices are going to do anything but continue to appreciate right now. And, that'll change, right? There's always going to be ebbs and flows, but at the moment we have so few homes on the market and such high demand.
Totally. It's March. We've experienced some nice warm weather this week,
yep.
Which does seem to spur on our home selling season. So, I know from our historical charts that I bet you're going to tell us about that we're coming into our busiest time of the year for home buyers and home sellers.
Well, if you look at the number when, the most homes come on the market, usually it's early in the summer. So we'll usually see a spike in April, May, June is when, kind of a high percentage of homes come on the market. We're hoping, knock on wood, that we get that a little bit earlier this year. However, so far, I watch it every week, and we're still actually ticking down every week, the number of homes actually active on the market at any given time. And it's not that homes aren't coming on the market. Homes are coming on the market. There were almost 1,000 homes that came on the market in February in the greater Albuquerque area. However, that's 14% less than a year ago in February. And last year was, down as well. So yes, homes are coming on the market, but not as much as we need to take care of the demand. What's happened is the price per square foot and the price, average price, median price in Albuquerque have hit all-time highs for February. So price per square foot was $180, which is, you think about that, Tracy. Remember, when we were, 90 a square foot, 100 a square foot was pretty common for,
right.
Some of the starter homes.
Right.
Now we're at 180 per square foot. Heated, that's one way we look at it. And all-time high, 17% higher than a year ago, price per square foot. So home prices continue to grow. And in my humble opinion, I'll get out my cloudy crystal ball, doesn't look like that, a price appreciation is going to stop. Hopefully it slows down a little bit, honestly, because, 17% year over year appreciation, we can't keep doing that. And again, going back to the whole affordability issue, right, Tracy?
Right. And, the stats that I read this week, I know stats aren't my thing. They're your things, are Statomatic.
Wow.
However,
you did stats without me?
I did read a few stories that were local.
Yeah.
Or national, but with local predictions. And they're still saying, this year, next year, home prices will continue to rise in our market. Probably not as great, like 17%, but pretty serious. So when people say, I'm going to wait and have the market shift and not buy right now, well, the prices are going to continue to go up according to every statistic we can see and based on affordability and supply. It certainly seems reasonable.
Well, let me just put out a couple more interesting statistics about the Albuquerque housing market before we get to the homes of the week, which you're going to do, Tracy. But so we know that homes are selling very fast, right? We know that the supply is low, demand is high. Homes are coming on the market and going off very fast. But I was curious, how fast is fast? And what I found is that 30% of the homes that came on the market and that sold in January, February, 30% of them sold in 2 days.
As in an offer was accepted and they came off the market.
Exactly.
In 2 days.
Yep. And 60% were 7 days or less. So you could basically say 60% of the homes that closed in January, February of this year sold immediately. 7 days is virtually immediately.
For all of our listeners, they probably understand. But what happens typically these days is sellers are keeping the house on the market for 2 or 3 days. So most buyers that are in the market have an opportunity to look at it before they review their offers.
Correct.
So that 30% in 2 days or less versus 60% in a week or less, a lot of those ones that are in that first week are probably day 3 or day 4.
Think about that though. 30% of them 2 days or less, and I did see a lot in the statistics that were 0 days on market. Basically, went on the market, sold the same day.
Yeah.
And so things are moving very fast, and the thing that's interesting though is this very well is it's a little more complicated and a little more frantic pace right now for both buyers and sellers, and buyers and sellers really have to be ready for what's going on with the current market and have somebody that really can help them navigate this kind of wildness, this wild ride, if you will.
We're seeing even people who are thinking about selling their home themselves are using a realtor these days because of our ability. When we work with so many buyers and sellers, we know the negotiating tactics. We know how to make sure that it's a win-win for both the buyer and the seller. So when we come together and represent that seller, we're really doing a great job for them.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just my hope, just to put a bow on this conversation about the housing market, is that we do get some more homes coming on the market and alleviate some of the supply challenges. And I know everybody says, well, why don't they build more? Well, they're trying, but the home building has its own constraints right now that's not letting up at the moment. So got a long way to go there.
That's a different radio show.
That's a whole nother 1 hour conversation for sure.
We've covered it before. We'll cover it again. And we have a new faithful listener. I wanted to say hi to Jeff because Jeff called and left me a message and told me he's a new faithful, never going to miss our radio show again. Oh,
wow.
So,
that's great.
Hi, Jeff. So, Tego, can we talk about open houses this weekend and houses that are featured homes?
Yeah, we have a few that just came on this week, and I wish we had a lot more, but we do have some offerings here that we want to talk about.
So one of them's sort of interesting. It's in the Knolls of Sandia Park. So that's...
No, it's off Mountain Valley.
Mountain Valley?
Yeah. Sorry, it's not the Knolls, but it's Sandia Park. Yeah.
Sandia Park, and it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house, $155,000, and it's not a manufactured or modular home. It's a stick-built. We call them stick-built home for $155,000 on 2 acres. So 1 bedroom, 1 bath on 2 acres. It's unique, special property. So if you're interested in that, there's going to be open house this weekend, and you're welcome to go by and see it or call us, and we can get you set up with an agent to represent you. Because a lot of times when you're out and about, it's good to see more than one house at once. So
if people know the East Mountain areas, it's north of Frost Road off Mountain Valley Road. So it's just a little bit east of the Sandia Knolls community. So totally. It's a
small property,
it's a
right?
small
like
property.
800 or 900 square feet.
Yeah. But it's on a large lot, and lots of open space.
So we do have a website that you created, albuquerqueopenhouses.com. So you can get on there and find all of them from all realtors that take the time to put them into the multiple listing service. We have a couple others new on the market, 1842 Florida Street Northeast. This is a almost 2,500 square foot single story home, and it's going to be open this weekend as well. It's listed for $329,900. Get online, look how cute this house is.
Yeah, it is.
Another one will be open this weekend in Rio Rancho.
Yep.
On 26th Avenue. It's listed at $499,500. It's an acre and a quarter. So
and it's
big views back to the mountains.
If people, just for lay of the land, it's just west of Rust, correct?
Right.
Do I have that right? Or no, I take that wrong. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a different house. Yeah, this one's up by Cleveland High School.
Right.
Just south of it. Yeah.
Right by Cleveland High School.
Yeah.
An acre and a quarter, a very large single-story home, $499,500. I've seen the views from this house. We helped the buyers when they bought this many years ago. It's pretty beautiful. So get online, look at that. Our website, welcomehomeabq.com. You can see all of these featured properties. And if you're interested in getting yours featured and having the exposure in open houses, we do a great launch for our sellers. We generate a lot of interest in your home. So we'd be happy to help.
It's definitely key today. Get it out there. Because there are so many buyers out there, but they still need to know about it. And so we want to make sure it gets exposed to all potential buyers out there waiting for the right home to come on the market. Okay, Tracy, I saw this topic, and it's actually interesting because it's one of those topics that comes up in the realtor community, and we chat like, what does this mean? So the question is, what's included and what's not included with a home sale? So what's part of the house and what's not part of the house? And in our world, we say it's real property or personal property, or sometimes we use the term fixture versus personal property, right?
Right. So real property versus personal property. It's really interesting because a lot of times what the buyer thinks is staying with the house and what the seller thinks they're leaving with the house can be two different things.
Yes.
So best advice is to clarify up front anything that might appear as though it is going to stay. But generally, Tego, I love your analogy. Tell us. I can't take your thunder.
Well, and I got this from another realtor years ago, and they said, a good way to define what's included and what's not included, or what's, a fixture or personal property, is if you turn the home upside down and shake it, everything that falls out is personal property and generally does not stay with the house.
See, I love that. I didn't want to say it for you because you teach that a lot. So things like on our purchase agreement, it says curtains should stay with the house, right?
Well, it
says rods.
Yeah, well, it gives the opportunity to make sure that it's clear in the purchase agreement if it stays or if it does not stay, right?
There's a whole list, though, in our purchase agreement that says what should stay. So it gets murky, though. Like some people say, like, our TV is affixed to a wall. Does the TV stay? Does the TV holder stay?
The bracket,
the bracket, because it's bolted in. If there's, I've had really common where it's a home office and somebody has bolted their files, their open shelving or whatever, to a wall so that it doesn't fall over and kill a child, right? Does that stay because now it's affixed to the house?
Right. And that's one of the things. So if you need a tool to remove it, then maybe it's probably a fixture that stays with the house. But that would be a great example of that gray area and not sure.
Right. We have a few things in our house that we have affixed to the walls for safety because we have a lot of people's young kids over and we don't want them to have something fall on them because they climb on it, right? So it's really good to clarify. But that's one of the things that's really important when buyers are putting offers together, if there's anything that they clarify, to make sure whether it stays or not. The other thing, Tego, is it physically attached? It usually stays, but like think about a garage door opener, right?
Well, so
it's not attached.
Right. Well, you've got the garage door opener that's attached to the house.
Clicker.
But you've got the clicker, which is an integral part of that system. So
right. Those types of things should stay, right?
Yeah. And again, they need to be defined in the purchase contract so everybody's very clear. Refrigerator is probably the biggest one that comes up, right?
A lot of refrigerators look these days like they're built in, right? They're counter depth built in look, but they're not really built in. So it's really important that if you want that refrigerator, that it's on the purchase agreement. We have the opportunity to exclude things that are typically included.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't a great example, but a lot of times people in like one of the bedrooms, they have curtains that match their bedding, that match their pillows. And, to be really clear, you say, I'm going to take those curtains, and they might have special curtain rods, or they might have a dining room chandelier that was grandma's. And in that case,
I love that example because that comes up a lot. So you've got this antique chandelier or antique light fixture, let's say, and you want to exclude it from the sale. You definitely don't want it included when you sell the home. What's the best advice for somebody on that?
So it might not be an antique. It might be the one you just bought when you were in Scottsdale shopping and it's special to you. My advice is put up a new light fixture and box that one up. You're moving anyway. Don't even let the buyers see it, because all of a sudden that's what they're going to want. And
before you do photographs too, because I've heard of cases where in the listing, in the photographs in the MLS, and they market it, there's something that's there that's attached in the photos, and then when the buyer comes to buy the house, it's not there any longer, and say, well, you marketed it with that piece in there. So you just want to be very clear what's included and what's not.
Piggybacking on what you just said.
Yeah.
So it's in the photos, but it wasn't in the house when you looked at it. But think of how many people are buying houses today just with a video tour.
Good point.
And to really see and notice that light fixture has been changed out with a cell phone tour of the house. You want to be really clear. So what about things outside the house?
Well, let me bring up one other thing that's come up more recently, which are things like a Ring doorbell or a Nest thermostat. You paid $300. Yeah, video cameras. You paid $300 for a Nest thermostat. Well, if your intention is to keep your Nest thermostat, well, maybe you should switch it out.
Put back the old one.
Right, exactly. Or the Ring doorbell or something like that. And there's this argument out there, well, if you need Wi-Fi to work for the Ring doorbell to work, isn't that an integral part of the whole house system? And you can make an argument that it is. But again, it just goes back to make sure all that thing's clear. Audio equipment, right? Built-in audio equipment. It can go on and on. So it's more just making sure everybody's on the same page when you go under contract.
I remember a big controversy about a year ago, and it was with regard to receivers and things that make the built-in speakers go, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And remember that a lot of times things that a seller thinks they're not leaving with a home suddenly become negotiable because the buyer saw it. So we've seen buyers, this is outside of what lending will allow. So I'm talking cash buyers or a separate bill of sale, right?
Sure.
But suddenly they want all the furniture, or they want the living room set, or they want the dining room set, or they saw things in the home and it just looks so good, they want it, And
you said something really quick. I just want to go back to is you can include personal property in the sale of a home. It's just the lender's not going to give it any value to it. Yeah.
Right. So sometimes the purchase agreement in the other section, it says that the refrigerator, washer, and dryer shall convey and stay with the home. So a lot of times we have to clarify and add on to that sentence. It says in as-is condition at no value with no warranty. Right. Yeah. So the lender can say, great, you can do that, but it's as is. Well, it's no value. Because the appraiser's not going to give value to it.
Right.
Yeah. Outside things?
Yeah, outside things. Sorry. Yes, you started to go there and I interrupted you.
It would be the same, right?
Yeah.
But
like a fountain.
Yeah.
You better clarify that one.
Yeah.
Right? How about a concrete bench in the backyard?
Got to clarify those things. Yeah. There's a lot of, remember that house we sold last year in Quintessence? And there was a lot of personal art, and it was big, heavy art type
Sure.
things like handcrafted bench and seating area where the person was a woodworker, and it was very built in. And yeah, a lot of that, we were very specific on what was staying and what wasn't. So always good to be clear.
Got it. Tracy, just a couple of things in the headlines this week around real estate again. And by the way, if you just tuned in, it's Tego and Tracy Venturi Realty Group of Keller Williams Realty. You can reach us at 505-448-8888 or on our website.
Welcome home, abq.com.
So yeah, if you want to talk about real estate, what's going on, and we're here to help. We have a great team, some great people. We've got some great marketing people. We've got
Yep.
Yeah, so we're here to help. Story this week, there was some new numbers on the number of foreclosures, and I saw a few headlines. Typical, right? Typical thing where they say, foreclosures spike in the first part of 2022. And yeah, of course they spiked because it went from zero. So anything above zero was a spike. And so we're going to see some more foreclosures. However, they're still way, way below any historic norms whatsoever. And every indication is that we're just not going to see any big wave of delinquent properties and homes being foreclosed on and coming on the market, which obviously we could use homes on the market, but then again, we don't want people being foreclosed on either. So.
Right. And to piggyback on that, right, if you know somebody who's behind in payments and they maybe are in a foreclosure direction, have them call us, because there are so many solutions right now, and you don't have to go through foreclosure. You can maybe save some of that credit that's being harmed, because house prices have appreciated so much that a lot of people, we can sell those houses for them and maybe put money in their pocket instead of them walking away with a foreclosure and nothing.
Well, you think about in the last 2 years, maybe 30% price appreciation over 2 years in our market, somewhere around there. I mean, a lot of people probably have more equity than they think they do.
Exactly.
Well, go ahead.
Which reminds me, if you just want to know what prices are doing in your neighborhood, we'd be happy to get you market data on your neighborhood and your house, just as a courtesy.
Sure. The bottom line on the whole foreclosure thing is that we're going to see an increase in 2022, but it's coming from record low levels. And so it's really not going to impact our housing market hardly at all.
Our listeners can't see the chart that you put in front of us. It's sort of crazy how low they are, right?
Yeah. Especially when you look back at
2009, 10, 11.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing that, I don't know if I even want to go here, but we're going to go here anyway. And it was interesting. One of the economists that I follow on Twitter that does a lot of housing stuff, he put together a pretty interesting analysis of, is the war in Ukraine going to affect the U.S. housing market? I know there's been a lot of people talking about, okay, is this, how's it going to affect the economy? Is it going to affect our economy? And so, the takeaway I did on this one, and I've read a couple other economists too talking about it, is that the short answer is really not. It's not going to really, it doesn't appear to do anything because, yes, inflation is going to increase because of fuel prices. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. The thing that's interesting, mortgage rates actually ticked down in the last week.
Right. However, the Fed came out this week and said they are going to continue raising the rate, right?
Yeah, but the thing that's interesting, they so what happened was, the Fed came out and everybody was predicting a 50 basis points or half a percent increase in the Fed rate. Well, now it's only going to be a quarter point or 25 bips or whatever you want to call it, right? 25 basis points. And then what happened was when the war started, a lot more money came flowing into the bond market, which is the 10-year bond, right? The 10-year treasury. And when demand goes up, prices go down on the thing. So, the treasury, the 10-year T-bill or the 10-year treasury note, if you look at that, that's really tells us where the mortgage market is going to go. So long story short is mortgage rates actually ticked down this last week. All indicators are that yes, as the Fed does some more tightening, that maybe mortgage rates will go up. But right now they're holding somewhere in this sub 4, just over 4% range.
And that's for somebody with a good credit
Yeah,
score.
and that varies obviously.
And by loan program. The thing that was in the legislature passed, and the governor signed the bill for like $25 million for affordable housing.
Yeah.
So that's really nice, because our down payment assistance program, the what's the entity that administers that?
MFA?
The MFA, Mortgage Finance Authority, will be the ones that are in charge of that. And they do a great job with helping people get into homes, helping with down payments.
The thing I like about that program is, the home buyer has to go through some education. They have to do some financial literacy work, which is great. And it's a way for people to get into home ownership without actually just giving them a house. It's
Right.
like they still have some skin in the game. They have to, have the financial literacy. They still have to qualify. But they just get that little extra help with the down payment, which is great.
And
it's a great program.
Some of the programs that they have, there's more than one available, depending, first time buyer versus move up buyer, whatever, that, with as little as $500 out of pocket for somebody, they can get into a home.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good program, that just brings up something. Just made me think about it. Is I rented one of our homes, and I was talking to a couple that they're like, well, we'd like to buy, but we don't have 20% down, and it just made me realize again, it's like people don't understand that they don't, you don't need 20% down. Obviously, that's ideal, if you can, because then you don't have to pay mortgage insurance. But for people that are just trying to get their foot in the door of home ownership, the FHA program's 3.5%.
Right, 3.5% down payment.
The New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority program is $500 out of pocket, like you just said. So
right.
I think it's just educating people that it's out there. Now, of course, we have this other problem right now, which we have very few
affordable properties,
starter homes on the market right now.
True.
Yeah. It's interesting, and I don't know what the solution is, other than people that are in homes right now that want to get them sold. They can do it, and they can do it quickly, and they can get a good price for them. And it does take quite a bit of navigating, and it's not as easy as just hammering a sign in the front yard, is it?
No, it's not. Tego, it's a little premature, but the spring parade of homes, where new home builders feature homes, they're building them right now to be in the parade, so they're not technically in our multiple listing service yet. But I know from a few of our buyer brokers that work with us on our team, they've been out and scouring for those houses that are coming for the parade of homes, and there's a few really great homes that are newly under construction in various parts of the city. So if you're searching for a custom home, new or newer, we might have a line on some, so we'd be happy to help you with that. Give us a ring, 448-8888. We have several home buying specialists on our team that can help with that. And obviously we have folks on the team who specialize in helping home sellers. So give us a ring.
One last stat here before we wrap up. I just started doing some preliminary work on this, and there's been a big question like, okay, do we have a lot of investors buying these homes? And I did look at the second 2 quarters of 2021, and I came up with about, where is it? About 23%. So it's a pretty big number that were either non-owner occupied or they were corporate purchase. So there are a lot of people out there buying homes that are not owner occupied. It's not as high as the national average, which was somewhere around 30%, 28 to 30%. But there definitely are a lot of investor purchases going on.
Well, we need those rentals as well.
Yeah, that's true. True that.
Just given how difficult it is to buy a home, or it may be at some point, it's always good to help people who can go ahead and buy the home and then rent it back to you. So there's certainly that as well.
And there's a lot of that going on, Eddie. That is a trend
And
that's
that's
happening.
helpful.
Yeah.